Proudly presented here is Thomas W.N.T. and the adventure story of surviving the discovery of a new science. Here is a survival story that is about an adventure in research. It's the kind of story that equally challenges the human body in a mental way, a way that is equally painful and that even hurts more than any physical pain the human body is capable of inflicting. If you could choose between physical or mental pain, what would you select? Can mental pain be worse? Today you are invited on an incredible experience in research in the study of human personality. Imagine attempting to write literature based on the following guidelines. First, it must be non-fiction. Second, it must receive an official registration of copyright by the United States government. Third, it must be a new scientific discovery that no mind has ever touched. Now ask yourself, would any doctor program in any university contain these guidelines? Would students be able to produce results following these requirements? What would be the odds of surviving this achievement? You probably would walk out of the program unable to lift your pen. The odds would be somewhere around 1 in a billion chances of making it past these 3 guidelines. The mental pain and stress would be enormous. Thomas W.N.T. is the founder of a new science to improve the future. The goal is to help others gain better health, wealth, and knowledge for a terrific future. The 3 guidelines mentioned here earlier were necessary to really give you a good sense of background to realize the remarkable stress and pain this would put someone under during this research in the study of human personality that led to the discovery of a new science that was recorded and copyrighted in 2022 by the United States government in a rare work of literature called The Most Helpful Book Ever Published. The focus here is to share this remarkable journey of what it was like to go through this incredible adventure. To enlighten your spirit to feel for this adventure even more, ask yourself, how would I even start to follow these 3 guidelines? Where could I find anything about a science that no one has ever heard or talked about? Whatever I find out even after spending a lifetime, has some scientist already discovered it? Do I risk wasting my time? By now you can see how difficult this task would be. The risk was losing a lifetime of hard work. On one morning in November 29th, of 2022, came the painful and stressful moment that was finally here after a lifetime of waiting for this stressful outcome. It was time to open the letter from the United States Copyright Office. The journey begins in high school in the early teen years with an interest in the study of people. The topics of psychology and sociology were explored to learn about the behavior and personality of men and women. In the college years, an undergraduate degree was completed in psychology, Roosevelt University located in Chicago, and with this knowledge was the development of a new science that began a career as a scientist. First, family and friends were studied. Then, celebrities and politicians were investigated. Next, historic events and how people behaved or acted in their life were studied. One investigation of human personality led to another and another. Pretty soon the research uncovered concepts and behaviors about human personality that no one had ever seen. These findings could not be left alone all by themselves. Next, they were labeled and placed into a new category of science that would help reveal to anyone reading about them how personalities are formed by nature. Now, of course, this is scientific material that must be broken down and interpreted for people to understand. To achieve this, a great book on people's personalities was written called The Most Helpful Book Ever Published, and it took 10 years to write and carefully prepare this informative material. This appeared to be a rare work of literature that couldn't be found anywhere else. At least it could not be discovered anywhere else. That still didn't mean that some scientist had already found it. The decision to take a chance and keep a persistent work operation moving forward, with the hope that this hunch of uncovered discovery was sure to be true, and that these investigations were genuine and would be considered uncovered material for the first time, was risky, and so, the final decision was to continue. At this point it would be fair to say that this was the gamble of a lifetime. The feeling was so certain about all this work that it was decided to take 10 precious years and put together material that would precisely explain everything that had been uncovered. The goal was to explain this material so simple to people that it was decided to break down everything. 10 years went into preparing the material from 2013 to 2022. From the time of graduation in high school from 1984 up to 2012 was a lifetime to master this material, and then another 10 years 2013 to 2022 to break it down and write it so that it could be made very easy for others to comprehend. At this point a strong sense of determination to continue taking the chance of being too sure about this possible new discovery was overwhelming. The present-day research was so tiring and disappointing that it drove a compelling sense of feeling to want something special that would really define human personality. Of course, the next big question would be what would be considered special. You see, it had to be a work of material so incredible that people could take a quick snapshot X-ray of their personality. That there would be no more struggling in people's lives trying to guess what they're good at, who their best companion is, or what career they are cut out for. You see, it would be material where they would learn the shocking truth about their personality, instantly detecting what nature has intended for them. Does nature have a plan in our creation? Now at this point, after all this time, let's return to what happened on the morning of November 29th, of 2022. This was the time period that ushered in the most painful and stressful moment that was finally here after a lifetime of waiting for this stressful outcome. It was time to open the letter from the United States Copyright Office. At this time, no longer was there an attitude of pretending to be real sure or a boost of credit to add more confidence to this newly discovered science. It felt like the foundation was being pulled away, removing every sense of strength felt deep inside, and everything seemed to collapse, and all hope was in jeopardy. That day was the hardest experience in a lifetime. The painful memory of the hand moving towards the letter was recalled, being as actually trembling and felt stiff, when picking up the letter that clearly identified itself as a letter from the United States Copyright Office. It burned through the heart staring at it. The letter was quickly set down. Now, normally not being very emotional, this was too much. A decision to open the letter had to be made. It was decided to come back and wait 24 hours. After all, this had been a lifelong wait. You have to consider that this was a lifetime that was being gambled away here. The thought that this could be a dead end and a possible rejection notice due to material that was claimed earlier by someone else was pretty painful to bear, considering this was a gamble of a lifetime because of believing in something that was thought to be genuine here. The next day a somewhat better feeling was felt, and it was decided to make another attempt to open the letter. The torture seemed to be long enough. Carefully reaching for the letter, slowly it was opened at the top with gentle, precise movements of the letter opener. It is accurate to say that recalled and never to be forgotten was the memory of a sharp feeling of pain that began to start from the head and move down to fill the toes. Quickly sinking every tooth deep into the quivering lower lip, and fighting back the awful sick feeling of pain now forming sharply inside the stomach, it was time to face this moment. After neatly opening the top of the letter, the feeble action of reaching in and pulling out the letter was slowly attempted. After carefully unfolding it, after a quick blink of both eyes, an image of what looked like a certificate appeared. It was the most magnificent sight that sent a violent tremble of excitement throughout every part of the body. Suddenly all the pain that was trapped inside was quickly replaced with an incredible feeling of joy. Of course there were unstoppable tears. We are only human. This was an unforgettable moment to be holding the certificate of registration. The official copyright was established and recorded in the United States in the year 2022. The certificate of registration was issued and the effective date of registration was recorded on September 30, 2022. The registration decision date was recorded on November 19, 2022. This was an incredible risk. To take the chance of losing a whole lifetime spent on something you had given up your whole life for. This means that all the work of finding this uncovered material is rare and can't be found anywhere else. The hunch was right. It can be said that sometimes life challenges you in ways where you can't feel any hope for the longest time. You have to keep moving on and in some way keep believing in yourself. The hope and dreams here survived. First, it must be non-fiction. Second, it must receive an official registration of copyright by the United States government. Third, it must be a new scientific discovery that no mind has ever touched. Do you know how many scientists operate in the world every day? How much work by companies, universities, and organizations copyright their findings through the United States Copyright Office every day? All those millions of scientists to compete with, and nobody already had a copyright for any part of this rare undiscovered material. After that experience, everyone still to this day can't believe that happened. Can you? What's like the most about this situation is that everyone benefits. The victory here is everyone's gain. Now the world can benefit from this precious material, and in a special way, taking 10 years to prepare. A lifetime to master. The goal is preserved and prevails to help others gain better health, wealth, and knowledge for a terrific future.